What if I told you that a single move from one man could change the economic future of an entire continent? Africa is known for its natural resources. Imagine a future where Africa is known not just for its raw materials, but for its finished products. But then there have been persistent challenge. Instead of adding value to these raw materials before they are exported, Africa has been exporting millions of tons of raw materials at very cheap prices. The truth is, exporting raw materials and importing finished goods is just like exporting jobs and importing poverty. A typical example is the DR Congo. The DR Congo has been exporting raw materials for decades now. The total economic value of raw materials in the DR Congo is about 24 trillion US dollars. That's about 2 times the GDP of all European countries combined. But the DR Congo is poor. Another example is cocoa. 4 African countries, namely Cameroon, Nigeria, Ivory Coast, and Ghana, produce 80% of all the cocoa that is found on Earth. But then, the global market value for cocoa is about 14.4 billion US dollars. That is as of 2023. But then the value of chocolate that is made from cocoa is about $140 billion. And it should be noted that the cocoa that is produced in these African countries is shipped to Europe, China, for value add. This actually means that farmers earn between 6 to 7% of the retail price of chocolate. We can be looking at these farmers as if they are just farmers, but we forget to understand that these farmers make up the economies of these countries. So it's actually the economy of these countries that we are talking about when we talk about exporting cocoa. We're talking about exporting raw materials. It actually means that if these countries remain as raw material exporters, they are going to be about 6 to 7% the economies of other countries out of Africa. Now, this chocolate example is what is happening to nearly all raw materials in Africa. We're talking about gold, lithium, iron, bauxite, platinum, and so many others.
In Africa, do we really refine the oil we consume? Do we really refine the oil we produce? The answer is no. And you look for the entire continent, there are only 2 countries that don't import petroleum product, which is a tragedy. Only Algeria and Libya, but the rest are all importers.
This actually means that the country like France that has no significant oil reserves make more money from oil and gas than Nigeria, that is actually the 6th in the world when it comes to oil production. This cycle has kept us dependent on other countries, limiting the potential of economic growth in Africa. What if I tell you that all this is about to change?
We ourselves sometimes don't believe that we've done what you are saying in Lekki.
On the 27th of March 2024, history happened. Picture this, for the first time ever, a finished product, jet fuel. I'm not talking about fuel for your motorbike or your car. The jet fuel was produced in Lagos, Africa, and exported to the Netherlands in Europe. This is not just a business transaction. It is a declaration, a bold statement that Africa is on the rise.
So the world's biggest dredgers were here. And for about 18 months odd, the plant was leveled up. This is probably an exercise of its own kind.
The 650,000 barrels per day that we've done is the largest single train, not only in Africa, in the world. And we just wanted to make a point, and which we have now, achieved.
To describe this project, honestly, it takes guts, it takes a vision, and it's the vision of one man, which is absolutely extraordinary to witness it, and it's really a vision of one person.
About 90% of all Africans actually think that the petroleum that they use in their cars on a daily basis is actually refined in their countries. Why? Because they see oil factories all over. And these oil factories extract crude oil and export this crude oil at very cheap prices to other areas around the world, where they are refined and sent back to Africa at very high prices. And this breakthrough of Africa's self-sufficiency is not only on oil and gas, but on many sectors.
And as I said, give us 3, maximum 4 years, Africa will not, and I repeat, and you can challenge me, will not import any more fertilizer from anywhere. We'll make Africa self-sufficient. This issue has been addressed not only for Nigeria, for even our neighboring countries. We have enough gasoline to give to at least the entire West Africa. We have enough diesel to give to West Africa, Central Africa. We have enough aviation fuel to give to the entire continent and also export some to Brazil and Mexico. I think we as an African company, and we are proudly African, is to see what are that. It's not only about petroleum products. Today, our polypropylene and our polyethylene will meet the entire demand of Africa today. We're doing, we're doing base oil, which is to do like engine oil. We're doing linear benzene, which is raw material to produce LAB, which is raw material to produce detergent. We have 1.4 billion people population. Nobody is producing that in Africa. So all our detergents are imported, the raw material. We're getting there, and I'm sure we'll make everybody proud.
Fantastic.
It is one of the biggest initiatives that has ever existed for Africa to become self-sufficient. Just this one refinery is able to supply jet fuel to all African countries. So instead of exporting crude oil out of Africa to value add, you can actually export that oil to Nigeria. Now, this is going to reduce, first of all, their cost of production. And taking into consideration that Nigeria is found in Africa and you are also exporting to an African country, you are going to benefit from the African Free Trade Zone. That is, business between two African countries is going to have little or zero custom duties. Now, take another typical example of LAB, that is the raw material that is used to make detergent, for example. Those business people that used to import LAB from China would now be able to have it from Nigeria at a very low cost. These are just few examples. There are many examples. So why am I really making this video? This video ties with the broader goals of the African Continental Free Trade Area, which aims to increase intra-African trade by 60%. Currently, intra-African trade is about 14%. Meanwhile, other areas around the world, Europe for example, has an intra-continental trade of 60%. Another reason why I'm making this video is to showcase African innovation. Now, there's one part in Dangote's speech that I want you to listen to.
We face the most challenging thing in terms of building this refinery. First of all, we couldn't find what you call an EPC contractor. That is engineering, procurement, and construction. The conditions that they were giving us were no conditions that we could actually take. The pricing that they were giving us wasn't a condition that we could actually even afford. We, as Dangote, got so upset, and we set up our own internal team to now do the entire project. And we are the EPC contractors.
Another reason why I'm making this video is that I actually believe in the power of stories to inspire. By sharing this video, I want to inspire entrepreneurs, that is those who want to be entrepreneurs, and also entrepreneurs that if Dangote can do it, it means that they can do it. If Dangote can do it, it means that you can do it. I'm also sharing this video in order to engage with you and hear your thoughts about this transformative story. Let me know in the comments below, what are your thoughts about this transformative story? What are other sectors that can also have breakthroughs like the petroleum sector in Africa? How can we support and replicate this kind of success across the continent? I also want to share this video in order to change the narrative. Africa has been painted as the dominant continent for a very long time by mainstream media. So through this video, I aim to change the narrative that Africa is actually changing and moving from one phase to another. We are moving from the raw material exporter to the finished product exporter. So what other industries in Africa do you think has a potential for breakthroughs like this? Leave your ideas in the comments below. That's the end of the video. I'll see you in my next video. But before that, I want to thank all our members for supporting this channel. I also want to say that we have a free ebook for all our members on how to produce and package spices and make millions from it. We'll be giving more of such content to our members. See you in my next video.
gonna let you go, gonna let you turn and walk away. I know how this goes.